later years. That would be close to, right? You die in your later years.
Death and legacy. Now, here we go. Scroll down.
Ah, there we go. Okay. After becoming president of the College of New Jersey, which is now Princeton University, a strong supporter of smallpox inoculations, decided to get inoculated in order to encourage others to do the same. And he died as a result. 11 children. So, Jonathan Edwards, kind of neat. There are some famous letters. I remember the one letter that's really fascinating was the young woman who attended one of his sermons, and she became a, I think she was a Christian already, but you weren't really serious about it, I guess, until you hear him preach about it. And she decided she was saved by his preaching, so she basically accepted, the revivalist call and was saved. And then she writes him a letter and says, "Okay, I'm saved. Now what?" So what? Give me directions. Now that I'm saved, what do I do tomorrow? It's like, how do I keep this excitement going, etc. And so his letters explaining things are quite interesting. So Jonathan Edwards. The quiz question is Jonathan Edwards. And so next class, our focus will be David Hume. And he's the end of the British empiricist group, officially, I suppose. And in fact, he does become a skeptic. So he's the kind of skeptic that, as I kind of jokingly, looked at the board, are you still there? Oh, you're there. Actually, you're only there now because I'm looking at you. Now I don't know, right? What can I know for sure if I'm a British empiricist? And I believe that all that I know for sure is what I'm experiencing at the moment, right? Well, an awful lot of the things that I think I'm experiencing, like, for example, when I have a conversation with my mother or my dad. Actually, right now I haven't had that many conversations with my dad because I mostly talk with my dad when we're playing golf, and my golf game hasn't been working for 2 weeks. It keeps going loading. I don't want to buy a new Oculus just because it might be bad. So,
But there's a new one coming out. It's supposed to be there.
I know, and I'm thinking, how they keep updating stuff until the old machine you have no longer keeps up with it, and you're basically out of luck. And I'm thinking, my Oculus was only $199 over a year ago, right? So it's out of commission already. That's just not fair. But I do talk with my mom quite frequently, and she's there. I see her. We have conversations. It's clearly in my mind, right? You've done this, right? You have, I guess, dreams where you think about someone and you have conversations with them, right? You can do that, and you can even picture them and so on. I think it's more confusing today than ever because of virtual reality. If I do go to the beach in Barcelona and I'm walking along, am I really there? No, I'm certainly not there. And yet it certainly looks like I'm there. I can feel the sun on me. It feels so nice and warm, right? You know what I mean. Walking along the beach with a 360 view, wherever you look, you're looking at the beach and everything. Barcelona is a beautiful place. The cathedral there is absolutely amazing. I think I've mentioned that. Sagrado Familia, right? is the one by Gaudi that's still being built. In any case, that just confuses things even more. And there's a professor named oh, I don't want that kind of chamber. Oh, it's not chambers. So this is, as you can see, a quite contemporary problem. How does philosophy deal with reality plus? Because now we've got virtual reality, which, how do you explain it? It looks real, but no, there's some level at which it's not as real as real. Although keep in mind my weird expression of how a physicist might think of what we're experiencing as real. It's actually digital. In other words, the universe is information. And so what we've got is a difference in this information that I feel like I'm experiencing through my senses, but I am experiencing the digital world in a virtual reality setting through my senses. So what's the degree of difference between the one and the other, right? And so this is an active issue in philosophy. And David Chalmers, and there's some wonderful videos, by the way, that he even puts his Oculus on in the video and says, it's just kind of fun to see him do that. But David Hume, who dies in 1776, by the way, you want the Stanford? So he died in 1776, which you can remember that year pretty clearly because it's a famous year because of Pinot Noir. That was a great year for Pinot Noir. I'm going to keep throwing that joke out there until someday somebody actually laughs at it. Scottish philosopher. And that's a weird outfit. I don't know why. There's other pictures of him dressed more British, as you can imagine. The red coat. Oh, this is cool. If you visit Edinburgh and you go to the old cemetery, this is his mausoleum, or tomb, I suppose, Hume's tomb. Right? And I don't think you can go in there, but you could go into this cemetery. And by the way, this is a statue of Lincoln, which you might think weird. Why would they have a statue of Lincoln? Well, guess what? Lincoln was Scottish. And if you've ever wondered why Lincoln's language seems so poetic, the explanation is that his vocabulary was primarily a Scottish Shakespearean vocabulary. He didn't have a vocabulary kind of outside of that, and as a result, his vocabulary and his speeches are all very coherent in a linguistic sense, which makes them very, very beautiful to listen to. But yes, you could visit Hume's tomb. The only thing is there's no parking, so you can't actually just park and walk in. You have to park relatively far away. You have to walk all the way uphill to get into the entrance of the cemetery, and then walk all the way downhill to where this is at the very bottom corner. My wife will never do it, so that's not going to happen. But it's interesting. So we will discuss David Hume next class, and he's the skeptic that even wonders, how do you know that you have a persistent self? Because if you're thinking about yourself and who you are, you're using your memory. You remember yourself doing the things that you did, the dates you went on, the classes you went to, the books you read, the music you like, all that stuff. And that's all based on your memory. But guess what? Our memory can be wrong. So you can't trust it. And so therefore, the only things that you can actually know for sure are the experiences you're having right this minute. Which is why if I turn this way now, I'm not experiencing you said, oh, now you're there. It's worse. This is worse. This is really skeptic. Skeptic par excellence. We'll have fun with this, hopefully. I'll send out some links to readings. Actually, if you go on the web, all of the things they've ever collected by David Hume is on a beautiful website that the British keep maintaining, because they're very proud of him. Although during his lifetime, the only thing he was really famous for was his History of Britain, which, by the way, is now considered wrong. He wasn't famous for his philosophy at the time because it was just wicked out there, you know. But now, of course, he's famous because of his communitarian ethics, his skepticism, and he led us to Immanuel Kant, who we will discuss on Wednesday next week. So we're almost at modern day here, guys. We're getting there. I know it's been a long, weird trip, but we're getting there. Questions? You guys having fun? Where's our snow? How come it's not snowing?
That's what I was wondering too. Where's the snow at?
Yeah, we're supposed to have snow for Halloween. Otherwise, all these new people that have bought all these expensive costumes for their kids are actually going to be able to put their kids in them for Halloween, which is just wrong. I mean, if you haven't, bought a costume for your kid for Halloween and then had 2 feet of snow, so that you had to put them in a snowsuit, which makes the costume totally ridiculous. Why? So no costume. Unless you want your children to freeze so you can get some candy. It's just wrong.
Priorities.
I don't know where this is going. Anybody planning on leaving to go to Israel to fight? No. Apparently a lot of Americans have. I think that's why I'm so tired. I keep going onto the internet and trying to see, are we at war yet? When's the nuclear bombs going to start flying? You worried? I was born worried.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I still remember getting under the desk at St. Cyril's Elementary School thinking that would actually protect us if there was a nuclear strike. Go Seahawks. Seattle. Closest football team we've got.
Whole family's from there, so.
I'm still an Eagles fan. I was sitting in Dallas in a hotel lobby with my infant son watching the Eagles-Dallas football game, surrounded by all these people with cowboy hats. And I was holding my son and going, push him back, push, with cheering for the Eagles in a room full of Texans in Dallas. And I knew I was safe, because no one's going to beat the crap out of a guy with an infant, You're safe. They did look at me. See you Monday.
You don't take care.
I'll bring more jokes. I'll try to bring more jokes so that it's a funnier cast. Hilarious jokes.
Looking forward